Hey everyone, hope you guys are all safe and well. It's been almost a month post launch of Rat of the Lich King Classic Phase 1, and I haven't been able to upload any videos lately because I got busy with work. So I thought today I'd upload something kind of chill, just a short update video specifically on the population of the number one private server for Rat of the Lich King, which is Warmane. So yeah, let's get rolling. Around 2 months ago, I made this video on possible scenarios with regard to how the
Who
launch of Rat of the
dare
Lich King
summon
Classic
me?
will affect the population of Warmane. So this was whether or not it would decrease significantly, leading to the downfall of the server, or if the population would be, retained or, even possibly increase. So feel free to check that video out through this link on the upper right of this video. Yeah, so at that time, I'm not sure if I showed it in that previous video, but based on the website, back then there was a total of around 26,000 players online. Back then it was peak hours, just like it is now. So, just to check the website again, right now we are actually at around, yep, still around 26,000 players. So in that sense, there hasn't really been that much of a change. I mean, if we're basing it purely on the number itself. Um, yeah, so um, I would say there's not much of a change in population, but like right now, I'm just going around Dalaran, and you guys can see how it's still very packed. Like I'm actually experiencing like some heavy FPS drops because of the amount of players here right now. So yeah, I did get a chance to speak with some of my old guildmates who are now officers and other top guilds. And they did mention that they had like a number of players who left the guild or who just ended up quitting Warmane just to transition to Wrath of the Lich King Classic. Because of that, they actually had to change their guild runs to dynamic runs for the first few weeks because they had to invite players outside of their guild just to complete their 25-man weekly raids. Um, but since then, their guilds has just been aggressively recruiting new players, and that pretty much alleviated that problem. I guess right now they're not doing so bad. You know, um, they're back to their old usual raid schedules and all that. Um, yeah, so I guess one of the things I also observed the past few weeks is there's still a lot of new players coming in. Like you have these players that are um, asking for boosts or begging for gold or simply asking for tips and tricks for their class or like how do you play their class, talents, rotations and all that. Yeah, so I guess these are also the players that are continually progressing towards endgame content, which is why it was easy for the guilds to kind of just replace the ones that they lost. I would say. Another thing that I observed actually with regard to the duration when you queue for RDF, it's still at the average of 5 minutes. That's if you queue as a DPS and not as a tank or as a healer. Because if you queue as a tank or as a healer, that's pretty much instant queue. So again, that's another. I would say that's another sign that the population's still doing good. Um, yeah. What else? Um, you know, Another thing that I noticed was, there's still a lot of PUG raids and even achievement or mount farm or transmog raids for earlier content, up like TBC, and every now and then I would still see like people making groups for Molten Core or Blackwing Layer for gold farm or again for transmog items. Um, what else? Yeah, PvP scene is also still very active, like BGs or arenas. you still get good queue times when you're queuing for these. As usual, Alliance is still dominating. Well, that's for this server. Alliance is dominating in the PvP scene. Same, I guess, as for Horde's forte in this server is pretty much on PvE raids or PvE content. Lastly, outside of the game itself, like Discord channels and the communities are still very, very active. So yeah, with all of these, I would conclude, I guess, that Warmane is doing just fine. Population is still very healthy. The devs are still very active with updates and banning players that go against DOS. Yeah, it would be exciting to see how things go from here. Honestly, like personally, I don't have a full grasp of how things are currently in Wrath of the Lich King Classic, but I do know that they implemented some changes in the game. Um, that could be good or bad down the line. But again, not I don't have any full grasp of that. So it would be nice to hear some input from people who have actually been playing Classic in the past few weeks. But personally, in my case, I would honestly be um, more biased, or not. I wouldn't say biased, but I'd be happy if Warmane continues to thrive, the way it is now. Uh, simply because again, as mentioned in my older videos, I've been playing this server for more than 10 years now, so there's a bit of sentiment in that regard already. So, what else? Yeah, again, I guess it's just too early for assumptions because Wrath of the Lich King Wrath of the Lich King Classic is currently in the earlier phases, so there's still a lot of content to be launched there. A lot more in-game, how to say this, like experiences, I guess, that players would have to use to assess how it's going there. But yeah, again, it's interesting. So feel free to share your comments or inputs down the comment section. Again, these videos are you know to open up interesting discussions on a game that we grew up and we ended up loving so much. So yeah, thanks guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.